Just giving everyone a little extra time to settle in and look around on the screen this morning. We are celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, beautiful people. I am Reverend Vicki Jeter, your minister and spiritual director for Louisville Center for Spiritual Living Teaching Chapter. And I am delighted to be back after having gone to Las Vegas this past week. I had a fabulous little mini vacation. And, it's wonderful when you can look forward to going and then you look forward to coming home. I missed you all. And it truly, truly just makes my heart sing to be able to be back. And I didn't have to miss a Sunday. And so, in addition to all of that gratitude, I am most grateful that Reverend Carolyn had her investments made in bringing the message today, so I didn't have to worry about that. So thank you, Carolyn, because she is here today to move us forward in our theme for March. That's how we've never done it. And her particular encouragement today is tell me something good. And of course, that is extra easy to do on St. Patrick's Day because we know that just brings all kinds of extra good celebrating St. Patrick. And along that line, I thought it might be just kind of fun to research that a little bit. So the shamrock comes from the Gaelic word Simorg. Believe it or not, or actually I think I'm mispronouncing that. Not Simorg, it's Simrog. Simrog. And that means little clover. So this little clover has had a long history in Ireland. However, most of its modern history is currently identified with the 5th century work of St. Patrick. And St. Patrick was actually one of the first Catholic missionaries in Ireland, and the legend has it that he used the 3-leaf clover for the Trinity of the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, and was a symbol that he used to teach from. And also, he would say that the key to that is that he liked the fact that centrally it was one, and he used to teach it that way. And so, because of its roots in the Christian faith, the shamrock today is still actually used as a spiritual symbol in ways I had never actually seen before. But military people tend to have shamrocks on their uniforms because it is still seen to symbolize a great deal of luck and protection on a spiritual level. And there is, out of Ireland, the USAHS. It's a ship. It's the USAHS Shamrock. It's an Army-operated hospital that serves in the Mediterranean, and it serves about 15,000 people at a time as a floating hospital. And so then the 4-leaf clover, they say if you actually find a 4-leaf clover, you should press it and keep it if you can, because they're about 1 in 10,000, and the rarity of it is what brings it extra luck. And so, taking all of that into our opening prayer, let us set our intentions, take your own personal moment, check in and see what brought you to be with us today. And our shared intention is to embody Reverend Carolyn's message about telling something good as a practice. And from that place, and with extra gratitude that this should be what we're about today, we open prayer. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, presence of life. Thank you, presence of the saints and the angels, particularly this day, the essence of St. Patrick, to bring luck and love and harmony to everything and all that we do as we learn more about how to tell something good. And for all of this and more, I am so grateful, and I just release it with the heart of a child. I let it be, and so it is. And so certainly we do welcome you to Louisville Center for Spiritual Living Teaching Chapter, where we welcome all paths to God, all of your questions, all of your demonstrations in prayer. Whether you're here with us for the first time or watching us on YouTube, we are grateful for you because you are what we're about. Wanted to give you all time to read that. This brings us now to our opening song, which is God and I Are One by Kylie. And also, we're going to be able to see each other's faces with this song this morning. And so you'll get used to where the refrain is, possibly sing along. This is a great song to sing to.
I know that there is one life, that life's my life now. I know that there is one strength, that strength's my strength now. How do I know these things? God and I are one. God and I are one. God and I are one. This I know for sure. God and I are one. Only good is present. God and I are one. This I know for sure. I know that there is one peace. That peace is my peace now. I know that there is one joy. That joy is my joy now. How do I know these things? God and I are one. God and I are one. Only good is present. God and I are one. This I know for sure. God and I are one. Only good is present. God and I are one. This I know for sure. One life, one love. God and I are one. Only good is present. God and I are one. This I know for sure. God and I are one. Only good is present. God and I are one. This I know. This I know. This I know for sure.
Total awesomeness. That was so much fun. Thank you for dancing and singing along. This brings us into our mission and vision, which is to teach personal transformation as a virtual community, living the principles of science of mind and celebrating all paths to God, which manifests our vision of a world that honors and respects all people. And so, as we know, spiritual living is only as valuable as actually applies in your experience. And so each week we have an application of what we believe. And this week, this is the last segment from the Declaration of Principles that we've been going through that was given to us by Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind. And it is, we believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny. We understand that the life of all is God. And with that, I turn this over to our fabulous practitioner of the week, Miss Katrina Doro.
Thank you. The theme of today is to discern between self-talk and intuition. So let's tune into the deeper intelligence available within us, the intuition that transcends intellectual understanding and allows our internal guidance system to deliver divine solutions. It's up to us to invite this inner guidance system and intuition to lead us and to allow for those perfect solutions to come into place for us. That intuition is the voice of tell me something good. So our reading this morning that I selected on that topic is from the 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Baker. And I have chosen a paragraph from each to share. Universal and infinite intelligence governs everything, holds everything in place, and directs the course of everything. The intelligence that governs the planets in their course is the same wisdom that is an anthill or the beehive. The same wisdom is the bird that flies north in the summer and south in the winter and knows where to find its food. But that which is blind that which is blind or instinctive knowing in the animals should become conscious knowing and will in the human. In the animal kingdom, it works as a blind force. In the human kingdom, it works through blind force only in the automatic reactions of nature, such as an involuntary function of the human body. But the more personal use of it, whether or not we shall call upon the one mind and spirit to direct and govern our efforts. This depends upon our personal choice. This is what freedom and individuality means. Intuition is not a product of the intellect, nor is it something which developed in the process of our evolution. It is the thing itself, that which is instinctive in the animal, blindly, unerringly leading it to food, water, and shelter, become intuition in man, consciously perceived. Intuition in human, consciously perceived. Instinctive in intuition, acting unconsciously. Intuition is instinct elevated to the point of self-awareness. They are identical. Intuition is omniscient, acting omnipresently. Therefore, whether or not we believe it, it is ever present with us. And thank you for letting me convert that from man into human, because we recognize gender equality. So for our meditation, I would like to invite you to be fully present with me right here and right now. Feel free to adjust your body to get comfortable and settled into your seat. When you are comfortable, if you haven't already, please close your eyes or lower your gaze. Bring your attention to your spine that goes all the way from your neck down your spine. Allow your spine to gently move into a place of relaxation, releasing any stress or tension you might be feeling in your spine. Bring your attention to your feet. Are your feet grounded on the earth? Feel free to wiggle your toes and feel yourself grounding. Bring your attention to your breathing. Take a nice deep breath in and out. Notice your lungs filling with oxygen. Allow the breath to expand to its fullest and release your breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Bring your awareness to your heartbeat, deep within your body. Place your hands on your heart and feel your heartbeat. Find the gentle beat in your chest. Notice the love in your heart. Feel the love expanding for yourself, others, nature, the earth. Embody gratitude for your heart and where it guides you. Bring your attention to your intuition. Are you listening carefully to your internal guidance system as it lovingly guides you? Allow clarity to fill your mind as you pay close attention to your intuition. Acknowledge the gratitude that you have for your intuition and internal guidance system that leads you to living a life of divine right action. Thank your intuition for supporting every aspect of life. As Ernest Holmes says in This Thing Called You on page 71, divine guidance is ours for the asking. The answer to any problem which can ever confront us already exists in the center of our being. Bring your attention back and gently open your eyes and be present in the room. And so it is. Amen. Our special music this morning is Look for the Good by Jason Mraz.
Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. People done gone crazy. People done gone mad. People done forgot the superpowers we all have.
We were born to love, not hate. We can decide our fate and look for the good in everyone and celebrate all our mistakes if there's a silver lining. You still have to find it, find it, find it. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone needs sunshine. Everyone needs rain. Everyone is carrying around some kind of pain. I see who you are. You're just like me. I see you're searching for a purpose, guided by a dream. I see who you are. I'm just like you. I get lost sometimes and I forget what I came here to do. I keep on trying. When it gets frightening, look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good. Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone is nature. Everyone is God. Everyone is love and light and vibration. Look for the good. Look for the good. Everyone gets mad sometimes and maybe they should. Look for the good. Look for the good. Yeah, look out for all the heroes in your neighborhood. Look for the good. Look for the good. Life sure would be sweeter if everybody would. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Look for the good in everything. Look for the good. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good. Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone.
That is a fun song, and thank you for choosing it. I am pleased and very happy to be here. I'm trying to figure out what's on the screen. It's introducing our theme, which is Tell Me Something Good. And I am excited to be able to speak about that and to explore that possibility with you this morning. Tell me something good. Who are we talking to when we say that? Who are we asking to say something good to us? Ourselves, the people around us, the media, everywhere that we get input into our lives, we would like for that input to be positive, to be uplifting. And oftentimes it's not. And so how can we increase the possibility of having good things said to us? We choose what we're exposed to constantly. There are decisions to make constantly about what are you going to watch on TV? What are you going to listen to on the radio? What are you going to look up and explore? What are you going to read? What are you going to tune yourself to? You know, when meditation, we're tuning ourselves to the trust that there is something to be heard and we're going to hear it. And so we're going to meditate and listen to that small voice within, that large voice without, whatever form it takes, that intuition, that direction from spirit. And so those are some of the things that are giving us input constantly, and where we get to choose what kind of input that we want. So to think about, what are you listening to? What are you hearing over and over again? And what are you saying to yourself? Most of the time, we're in our minds thinking, and we are constantly having a conversation with ourselves. And oftentimes that conversation is not positive. It's a criticism. It's a reinforcement of all the things that we've ever done wrong, all the things that we've ever done that we wish we hadn't done. And those attitudes that are very prevalent in our minds. You know, we have a tendency to put ourselves down and to think the worst for what we're doing, but we can change that. We can begin to reinforce the positive things in our lives. So the first person that we have to say, tell me something good, is ourselves. Tell me something good, not something bad, not something that reinforces what I have been doing in the past, things that are maybe not beneficial to me, but telling me something good. Yes, it may be that for a long time we've not gotten what we wanted, and yet that's still the opportunity to reinforce that opportunity to have something good in our lives. So tell me something good. There's an affirmation that I wanted to share with you this morning. Divine intelligence lives in me and guides me in each new day. Divine intelligence lives in me and guides me in each new day. The more we reinforce that, the more that we will listen and know that there is something to be said to us and we can hear it. To trust that Spirit really is talking to us constantly and giving us direction and help for whatever it is that we need. That is so key to hearing something good. Divine intelligence lives in me and guides me in each new day. We have generally two ways of solving a problem or answering a question. The first way is through our intelligence. We are created as human beings to have great intelligence and innate ability to understand what's going on around us. And we rely on that. We want to have good input. We do our research. We talk to people. We read things that would help us to make a decision if we're trying to decide what we want to do in a major way in our lives, or maybe it's just something like, what am I going to eat for dinner? But there's something about us that figures it all out, gets all the information in, and then figures out what it is to do. And that's something that we're thankful for, that we have that ability, that we can do the research and understand a situation and make a good decision. That's one way of deciding things. But the other way is to rely on that spirit within and to know that whatever we've gathered as information, that it's going to be okay to make that decision. And yet there are times when we need something more. We need something to help us to understand, because our innate intelligence won't really answer the question. It won't really give us a definitive answer. It's where we are out there with our opportunity to make a decision based on something more than just the facts. That's the spiritual way of dealing with it, of saying, this is what the situation is, this is what we're doing, and this is that extra little thing that tells us what is the right thing to do. Because there's sometimes when you just can't figure it out, when you're just not going to be able to figure things out. And that's when we're called to trust our intuition. And that was a great meditation and breathing from Katrina this morning about our intuition. And so that's a great thing to think about and to understand more about. There's in trusting our intuition, the first step is to know that there's something to hear, that Spirit is speaking to us constantly. And if we are willing to step back and say, okay, I'm going to listen, then we'll be able to hear. I've ran across a mantra that I have used quite a bit lately. I trust the Spirit within. I trust the Spirit within myself. I trust the Spirit within this situation, because Spirit is everywhere and in every situation and in every person. So I trust the Spirit in this process that I'm going through. Right now, I'm moving my household goods from one place to another. And there has been a lot of opportunity to trust that that's going to be handled correctly. But I'd say to myself, I trust my Spirit in this situation as well, because it's not just in the high and lofty questions. Spirit is with us with everything that we do, everything that we're faced with, everything that we make a decision about. And so I trust the Spirit. When something comes up that throws me a little off, this little phrase has meant so much to me, because I can say, I trust the Spirit within this person that maybe I'm not clicking with the way I would like to click with in this moment, or the situation that is not um, going quite the way I want it to, or the situation that's going perfectly the way I want it to, that has surprised me with how well it is going. I trust the Spirit within. So, now, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about was listening with intention. When we go into meditation or we go into prayer, we're having an intention, and we are going into prayer or meditation or using a mantra or exploring a situation. We're doing that with intention. And when we do that, the results can be dramatic, and they definitely can be beneficial to us. 16 years ago, um, I was graduating from ministerial school, and I was in my last year of school. I had done all the work up until that point, and it was a challenge in so many ways. But one of the things I kept praying about and having a prayer partner about was, what was I going to do when I graduated? What kind of ministry was I going to have? What did I want to do? And I just did not have clear answers. I had intentions or thoughts, but I just didn't know how I was going to figure it out. I knew that I was a minister and I would be a minister, but how that would look, I didn't know. I didn't think that I could start a center. That was one of the possibilities, was to start a center. Well, I just didn't trust myself to be able to do that. So when I was thinking about where I was going, it was on an open-ended kind of a thing where I didn't really know what it was. But I just kept praying and being there and knowing that it would work out. Vicki and I had been friends for years, and she had moved to Louisville, Kentucky, because Vernon's job had taken him to Louisville, Kentucky. And her whole move was a big deal, and selling a house and all of that to do. But she had settled in to Louisville, and she had started a study group. She was uh, starting the study group because she was a practitioner and had been for years, and she needed to share the science of mind philosophy with other people. She was driven to do that, and she had a lot of questions about how to do that too. But she ended up figuring out how to get the word out, and she attracted to herself a loyal group of people that still Several of them are still in our group, and others have gone on to be great, great expressions of spirit. Uh, and but she was in this situation where she had a group of people coming to a study group, and they were talking about being together, and they didn't want to just stop with the first workshop that she did, which was to attract them in the first place. They wanted another workshop and another workshop, and they wanted to explore and understand and really be taken care of with all of this. And so she was, and listening to spirit, she heard a thing that said, call Carolyn and talk to her. And she was like, oh, no, that won't work. At the carrot, oh, no, shit, that won't work. She won't ever leave Houston. She's been there all these many years. She's not going to leave Houston. But Spirit kept saying, talk to Carolyn. And so finally, she called me one day and said, okay, would you maybe leave Houston, leave Texas, move somewhere else? And I said, yes, because I wanted to leave Houston. I had been in Houston long enough and I was tired of it and I was ready to move. So I'm like, yes, yes, let's talk about this some more. And it ended that she invited me to come and do a workshop with the group. And so I came and did the workshop with the group and met them and really just fell in love with them. They were such a wonderful group of people. But I was still open. I didn't know that that would come about, but I was certainly open to the possibility. Here I had been saying, I can't start a group, and I didn't start it. Vicki did. But I got to step into it and be its first minister, which now Vicki is its minister. So the progression of that. But the decision to come to Louisville and give a workshop and to give more than one, and then to listen as the group said, well, we'd like to have a center. What would it take to be a center? What would it take to do that? And so the second time I came to do a workshop, we talked about that. We talked about what would it take to be a center? What would you have to do? What would you have to pull together? And so we talked about that, and we talked about finances, and we talked about commitment, and we talked about a lot of different things. And I went home. Now, when I went home, I was like, yes, this is my group. I am so grateful to God for this is my group. And sure enough, the next time we talked, they were asking, well, if we decided to do that, would you be interested? And would we talk about it? And it just progressed from one step to the next. But the courage to do it came from spirit, came from in those moments of quiet meditation for myself and for Vicki. We just kept hearing that that was what we were to do. Now, we weren't without our trepidations. I got a call from Vicki. I had put the house on the market and was moving toward this, and I got the call from Vicki, and she said, no, you need to put the house off the market. You need to not sell the house. I said, why not? Well, we don't know. This isn't going to work. I mean, they come here and all, and it's just too much. And so we got off the phone and I prayed about it and thought about it. And then I called her back and I said, no, Vicki, the house is on the market. It's staying on the market. I know I'm supposed to come. I just know I'm supposed to come. And she was grateful and happy, and we worked on it together. I mean, it was a long, long process, and it involved a lot of different things. But at each step, we purposely stopped and asked the question, what is next for us to do? What can we do now? What do we need to know to make this happen? What do we need to appreciate in our lives to make this happen? And we kept walking that journey together. I there's a thing called God winks, and God winks at us every once in a while, and that can be anything. It can be such a mundane thing, or it can be some exciting thing. but God is talking to us all the time. And the synchronicities of spirit bring about the most interesting things, you know. And moving to to this area, Bob and I came for a long weekend to look for a house. So we had our little GPS and we went from here to there and yonder. And GPS wasn't as good as it is today, but it was good. It was the thing that allowed us to go from um, Indiana all over to going into Louisville and around about. And we went out of town and we went downtown and we went just all these different places. And we've been doing this for a while, and we were in Jeffersonville, right across the river from Louisville, and we were going to see a house. And we were parked out in front of this house. Our realtor was not there yet. We were early, and so we were sitting there just waiting for her to come so that we could then look at the house. And I'm not quite sure what caused this guy to do what he did, but he walked by us and he said, "Y'all are looking for a house, aren't you?" And we said, "Yeah." Do we obviously have a sign on our head that said we're looking for a house? No, but you're sitting outside one that's for sale. And so I just thought maybe you might be. And we said, "Yeah, we are. We're looking for a house." He said, "I don't want to take anybody else's sale, but if you're not happy with this house and would like to see another one, I am redoing a house just a couple of blocks down the road." And so we thought, well, okay. And we took down the address and he told us where it was and said he would be in the house working. And so we could come in and see the house. So and when he left, we looked at each other like, that's weird. I mean, he just walked up to us and told us he had a house for sale. That's really weird. So we waited for a realtor and we went to the house that we were there for, and it was not us. There was no question in our minds that we wanted that house. It just was an odd, you know, it was an old home, but it was just an odd how they had built walls and changed rooms and all. And it was just weird. So anyway, when we left there, we went down to see the other house. And we walked inside and it was all it all needed to be painted, and he was doing repair work, electrical work, and he was doing all these different things to do the house. So we walked through it, and those of you who know Esther know that we ended up buying her, and that's what we called her, Esther. Yes, and we just recently sold her. But I know that the young couple that bought her will love her as much as we did. She was, for those of you who don't know Esther, she was 100 years old until we rebuilt her after the fire. And it was just, she was such a blessing. It was such a blessing in our lives for all those years. We had seen the house, and then on Sunday we went back to see the house again. And some of the people from this congregation that was still forming came with us. Vicki was one of them. And we went through the house, you know, and talked about it because there was a room in there that we could hold services in. That you don't find a house that's that big, you know, um, but there was a room that we could absolutely hold classes in, but we could actually hold Sunday morning in while we were still growing. So we're standing out in front of the house, looking at the house and talking about it. And someone said, "Look." And I turned around, and sitting right in front of the front door on the sidewalk was a rabbit. Now, my spirit animal is a rabbit, a hare. And so when I see a rabbit, and sometime it just means, okay, that's spirit saying yes. And so when I saw that rabbit, I was just overwhelmed with the God wink. Because that's what it was to me. And hey, we sat there and watched him, and he sat there and looked at us. And then in a little bit, he hopped across the whole front of the house and went down between the two houses there. That is the only rabbit I ever saw in that neighborhood. That was it. In all those 16 years that I lived there, I never saw another rabbit, but I saw that one. And it was just that icing on the cake, that little, okay, that's it. That's what we're going to do. All right, so that's what I'm talking about with God winks and with listening and hearing in ways that we can't even imagine. I read a story. Lynn wrote the notes for today's talk, and she shared her personal story. And I wanted to share it with you because it really brought home a point to me that I had forgotten, but that would be so important. When she was 65 or so, she was successful business-wise. She had a good job and was doing really well with it, but it was a high-stress job. And she was at a point in her life where she wanted to do something different. She didn't want to do that corporate job anymore. She wanted to do something different, but she wanted it to be meaningful. You know, it wasn't just change jobs, it was move into something where she could fulfill her need to do something worthwhile. So she was thinking about it and had talked about it and had done vision boards and had done all that, and it just hadn't worked. So she did something that I thought, that's really cool. She joined a prosperity class. It wasn't about money. She didn't have any needs or desires for that. I mean, she was doing fine. She decided to join a prosperity class because she wanted happiness to prosper and multiply. She wanted herself to be happier. And so she went to class and she'd been going for several weeks and she hadn't gotten a thing. And she's sitting there one night and they asked for sharings and she shared that she felt stumped, that she couldn't really get any inspiration as to what she was supposed to do or how it was supposed to happen. And she just was stumped. After this meeting, she was standing by the coffee urn, and a woman came up to her who, it was the first night that that woman had been in the group, and it was the last night. She was only there once. She came up to her, to Lynn, and said, I hope you don't mind. I just wanted to mention something to you. You know, you're looking at the final, what are you going to do? What's going to be the final answer? Maybe you need to concentrate just on the next step. Don't try to figure out what it's going to end up being. Just try to figure out what is the next step. Lynn thought about that and she thought, well, I've always been, as a practitioner, doing that final thing, doing that one, getting that picture of that final image that I want. But that next step, that's different. But then she thought, I asked God for help. I asked God for guidance, and here it is. And so she went into meditation and she asked for the next step. What is the next step? And all of a sudden, pop, ministerial school. Ministerial school? Pop. Yes, ministerial school. That was the pop that she was looking for, that zing that we get sometimes when you know something is just right. By the end of the week, she was enrolled in ministerial school. She had some friends in Science of Mind, and they worked with her and they got her enrolled. And of course, all these years later, she's a minister and has been for all this time, and she's had this meaningful work. So I share that with you because for me, it was kind of a revelation. So I thought it might be for you too. Okay, we've talked about God winks and we've talked about listening and hearing. I want to share a quote with you from Einstein. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. We focus on our rational mind and understanding and what we can see and touch and feel, and we forget the great world, the great blessing of spirit, invisible and yet always right around us all the time. Ernest Holmes said, divine guidance is ours for the asking. The answer to any problem which can ever confront us already exists in the center of our being. Taking the time to ask the question and listen for the answer. And so we take a deep breath. We're going to go into prayer. And so we take this breath. God, we set our intentions to listen and to hear. We trust that our guidance is always right here, right now. right around us, just waiting for us to see it, to recognize it, to accept it. And so in this moment, we set our intention to do that very thing, to listen and to hear. And we know with confidence that that is what happens. We listen and we hear and we are grateful. So that whatever situation we have in our lives at this moment, we know that we just simply need to turn our attention to spirit and be open to the answers that are always right here, right now. And so with joy, we celebrate and we know life and love, guidance and support. With gratitude, we let it be. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you so much, Reverend Carolyn, and thank you to each of you in our community for your time, energy, effort, and resources that you provide in order to make this community absolutely amazing. The ways that you can contribute to the community, PayPal check are mentioned in the chat. And our affirmation for the March prosperity is right here, right now. I am thinking outside the box. I am drawing outside the lines. My receiving and giving of God is over the top today. And with love and gratitude, I pass this offering to Reverend Vicki.
And it is with so much great joy that I take up this word. I just invite you all to take in the affirmation with the visual today. We are adopting for St. Patrick's Day, Snoopy's energy. And what's the name of the little bird, Vernon?
Woodstock.
Oh, that's Snoopy and Woodstock. And so just take a moment with me as we bless this offering to allow yourself to imagine that Snoopy has led the way and you have found the high end of your rainbow, and you're just going to raise your hands up like you're on that roller coaster and swoop down into your pot of gold. And with that joy and spontaneity and trust and willingness, and by all means, firing up the intuition that is the spark of spirit within, we say, blessings be and thank you, passing it forward to bring it back around once again. And so I let it be, and so it is.
And so it is. For our announcements today, we have the men's group, which is on this Zoom on Thursday, Eastern Standard Time at 6:30 p.m. Please join the men for this group time. Our first movie night of 2024 is the movie Hidden Figures. Please join us 7 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 22nd on this Zoom. Feel free to invite your family, friends, and bring popcorn, treats, and your favorite drink. We look forward to seeing you. And next week's speaker is Reverend Vicki, and she will be discussing That's How We've Never Done It New. Now, what's next? And then for an option to be prepared for our Easter Sunday, purchase some water-soluble paper from Amazon. And this will be for a releasing and embracing ceremony. I have mine here. 4x6 is plenty big. Mine's a little bigger, but please get some so that you can join us for that process. And even if you don't have the paper, please join us. And our next class, which is super exciting, I'll be participating, The Art and Science of Spiritual Mind Treatment. The instructor is Reverend Vicki, and the assistant is Tammy Evans. It's an 8-week course. It will begin on Wednesday, April 10th, and it will go through May 29th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The cost is $140 plus the cost of 2 books. So please join us. And Vicki, did you have additional that you wanted to say? You're on mute, my friend.
Thank you. So with regard to the class, I know there's a couple of people have been asking me about the books. One of the books is actually the Science of Mind text, but they are recommending a special version. And oh my goodness, you guys, I got to looking at why they wanted this specific version. And did you know that there are, like, tens of different versions of the Science of Mind textbook? And I don't really know that they all have a different content in them so much, but they all have different ISBN numbers. And they literally gave us a special ISBN number that is the one they want us to use for this class. So I'm not going to suggest to you that if you don't get this very one book that you can't join the class, but I'm saying that that's why there are 2 books recommended. The second book, I need to research a little bit more. If you're interested in taking this class, please do let me know, and I'll make sure that you have all the specific information you would need to feel prepared. It's going to be totally awesome. We already have 4 people signed up. And so I just wanted to give you that little bit of extra information, because the time between now and April the 10th is going to fly. And so thank you very much. Go ahead, Vernon.
And please join us for sharing time after the benediction. There's also prayer available. So please, if you need prayer, let us know. And as always, the most important thing to remember is that you are magnificent.
Now I encourage you to say our benediction. This is the Irish blessing. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rain fall softly on your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you and enfold you tight in the palm of his hand.